just a little bit different tonight. So, in case you didn't know, Experian got hacked. All right, and I am going to, I'm going to try to make sure that you can see this on your screen, and you can actually access this by going to sendme2.co/Experian dash hack. Send me to .co/Experian dash hack. All right, and I'm just making sure that my live stream is still live. Yes, okay, I see a few people here. All right, we're good to go. Okay, so you should see what I have on my phone. This is on my screen, and again, the link is I created a redirect for it. So the link is sendme2.co/Experian dash hack. Okay, so here's the reason that we're going over this. First of all, you need to know as a consumer that this actually happened, right? It was a huge thing when Equifax got breached, right? And everybody knows that nothing came out of that. They fixed it, whatever. It's not going to happen again. But so many consumers get it twisted and think that the credit bureaus are there to help us and all I got to do is dispute and they're going to remove it. No, they don't care about your security. They don't care about anything other than the fact that the bureaus, get paid by the data furnishers to report your information. And this article right here just proves everything that I tell you, okay? So you need to know about this. So we are going to read this together, all right? I just read this upstairs while I was working on a client's file, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta go and talk about this. Okay, so identity thieves bypassed Experian security to view credit reports. And this came out yesterday. It was actually posted in one of my Facebook groups, and I was like, whoa, I gotta read this. Okay, so identity thieves have been exploiting a glaring security weakness in the website of Experian, one of the big three consumer credit reporting bureaus. Normally, Experian requires that when you go and you get a copy of your credit report, you actually answer certain security questions. So what they did, and I'm just paraphrasing this right here, what they did was they made it so that they could change the address bar, right? You know how I just gave you the website to go view this? Send me to .co/Experian dash hack. So they went and they changed some of the parameters in the URL so that it would skip that and just go directly over to the credit report. So, but until the end of 2022, Experian's website allowed anyone to bypass these questions and go straight to the consumer's report. All that was needed was the person's name, address, birthday, and social security number. And unfortunately, in case you didn't know, you can access this stuff kind of online, okay? So in December, this website, this company, Krebs on Security, heard from Jenya Kushner, a security researcher living in Ukraine, who said he discovered the method being used by identity thieves after spending time on Telegram chat channels dedicated to the cashing out of compromised identities. He said, "I want to try and help put it to a stop and make it more difficult for ID thieves to access, since Experian is not doing shit and regular people struggle." Now, I want for you to stay until the end of this, because the very bottom part of this article is very, very, very important and literally summarizes everything that I have been trying to explicate to you and teach you and show you and prove to you, okay? But I love that part. Experian is not doing shit and regular people struggle, okay? So no, the credit bureaus are not there for you. If somehow I can make this small change and help improve this inside myself, I can feel that I did something that actually matters and helped others. He said that the crooks learned they could trick Experian into giving them access to anyone's credit report just by editing, just like I told you, editing the address displayed in the browser's URL bar at a specific point in Experian's identity verification process. So the person writing this article said, "I saw a copy of my credit report from Experian via annualcreditreport.com, and pausing right there, if you are in the dispute process, do not go to free annual or annualcreditreport.com. It changes the amount of days that they have to respond to you from 30 to 45 pursuant to Section 611. Okay, so headed back to this, a website that is required to provide all Americans with a free copy of their credit report from each of the three major reporting bureaus once per year. Annualcreditreport.com begins by asking for your name, address, social, and birthday. After I supplied that and told annualcreditreport.com that I wanted my report from Experian, I was taken to Experian.com to complete the identity verification process. Normally at this point, Experian's website would present 4 or 5 multiple choice questions, such as, which of the following addresses have you lived at? Now, just so you know, this comes from public records and from your credit report. The questioner told me that when the questions page loads, you simply change the last part of the URL from /ACR/OOW to /ACR/report. And the site would display the consumer's full credit report. Do you hear what I am telling you? The full credit report. You can literally bypass all those questions. Not now. It has since been patched, this breach, okay? But what? Okay. But when I tried to get my report from Experian via annualcreditreport.com, Experian's website said that it didn't have enough information to validate my identity. It wouldn't even show me the 4 multiple guess questions. Experian said that I had 3 options for a full credit report at this point: mail a request along with identity documents, call a phone number for Experian, or upload proof of identity via the website. But that didn't stop Experian from showing me my full credit report after I changed the Experian URL and modifying the errors page trailing URL from that error to simply ACR/report. Look how simple that was. Whoever coded all of this and the redirects and all whatever it takes to create all of these things with websites, they were able to just change a couple of things, like I said in the beginning, and show a credit report, okay? So this is huge. This is huge, okay? So Experian's website then immediately displayed my entire credit file. Even though Experian said that it couldn't tell that it was actually me, it coughed up my credit report, and thank goodness it did. The reports contain so many errors that it's probably going to take out a good deal of effort on my part to straighten it out. Now, I know why Experian has never let me view my own file via their website. For example, there were 4 phone numbers on my Experian credit file. Only one of them was mine, and that one hasn't been mine for ages. I was so dumbfounded by Experian's incompetence that I asked a close friend and trusted security source to try the method on her identity file at Experian. Sure enough, when she got to that part where Experian asked questions, changed in the last part of the URL in her address bar to /report, bypassed the questions, and immediately displayed her full credit report. Her report also was replete with errors, meaning it had a lot of errors. So Krebs on security shared customer's finding with Experian on December 23rd. Last year, on December 27th, Experian's PR team acknowledged receipt of my December 23rd notification, but the company has so far ignored multiple requests for comment or for clarification. Funny, right? And you think that just because you send in a letter that they're going to do anything about it? We're talking about a full breach here. You being able to access anybody's credit report, and they don't care. They don't give a shit. They're not going to give a shit about your dispute letters, right? Until something is done to force them to do something, nobody's going to care. They're not going to do anything. You need to stick with the process, okay? Okay, so by the time Experian confirmed receipt of my report, the exploit that he had learned from identity thieves on Telegram had been patched and no longer worked. But it remains unclear how long Experian's website was making it so easy to access anyone's credit report. In response to information shared by Krebs on Security, Senator Ron Wyden said he was disappointed. Disappointed, really? But not at all surprised to hear about yet another cybersecurity lapse at Experian. The credit bureaus are poorly regulated, act as if they're above the law. You hear me tell you all the time that yes, there are rules and regulations and laws and whatever, but they take these laws and rules and regulations and federal requirements as guidelines, and they just do whatever they want, okay? And have thumbed their noses at congressional oversight. And just last year, Experian ignored repeated briefing requests from my office after you revealed another cybersecurity lapse, the company. Senator Wyden's quote above referenced a story published here in July 2022, which broke the news that identity thieves were hijacking consumer accounts at Experian.com just by signing up as them. Here we go with even another one, right? At Experian, once more, supplying the target's static personal information, their name, date of birth, social address, but a different email address, okay? And it gets even crazier, all right? This just goes on and on and on. And again, you can access this, right? Not right now because we're reading it together, but note that the link is sendme2.co/Experian-hack. I should have put it down in the description. I'll do it when we're done, okay? So from interviews with multiple victims who contacted Krebs on security after that story, it emerged that Experian's own customer support representatives were actually telling consumers who got locked out of Experian accounts to recreate their accounts using their personal information and a new email address, right? This was Experian's advice even for people who had just explained that this method was what identity thieves had used to lock them out in the first place. Clearly, Experian found it simpler to respond this way rather than acknowledging the problem and addressing the root causes: lazy authentication and abhorrent account recovery practices. It's also worth mentioning that reports of hijacked Experian accounts persisted into late 2022. That screw up has since prompted a class action lawsuit against Experian. Senator Wyden said that the FTC and the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, need to do much more to protect consumers from screw-ups by credit bureaus. If they don't believe that they have the authority to do so, they should endorse legislation like my Mind Your Own Business Act, which gives the FTC power to set tough mandatory cybersecurity standards for companies like Experian. Sadly, none of this is terribly shocking behavior for Experian, which has shown itself a completely negligent custodian of obscene amounts of highly sensitive consumer information. Oh my God, that is such a crazy sentence, but it is so true. In April 2021, Krebs on Security revealed how identity thieves were exploiting lax authentication on Experian's PIN retrieval page to unfreeze consumer credit files. In those cases, Experian failed to send any notice via email when a freeze PIN was retrieved, nor did it require the PIN to be sent to an email address already associated with the consumer's account. A few days after that April 2021 story, Krebs on Security broke the news that an Experian API was exposing the credit scores of most Americans. It's bad enough that we can't really opt out of companies like Experian making $2.6 billion each quarter collecting and selling gobs of our personal and financial information, but there has to be some meaningful accountability when these monopolistic companies engage in negligent and reckless behavior with the very same consumer data that feeds their quarterly profits. Look at that. Look at that. You think it has to do with you sending these letters in and, oh, verify this and, oh, that's verified, delete this, blah, blah, blah. It has to do with the fact that they get paid to report your information. They have absolutely zero intention of deleting it. There's no incentive for them to do so. They get paid to report it, and by not reporting it, they're no longer being paid. So do you think that they're going to help you to clean up your credit, or do you think they're going to help themselves to even more money for reporting your information? I personally think that they're going to go the route of more profit. Don't you? I personally think so. So all of this just goes to prove everything that I've been telling you. This is a process. It takes some time, but when you do it the right way and you force them, right? You force them to do it, then you'll get your results. But hey, look, 2.6 billion each quarter just for reporting this information. Okay, that's crazy. Or when security and privacy shortcuts are found to be intentional, like for cost-saving reasons, right? So, and we saw with Equifax's consolidated class action settlement in response to letting state-sponsored hackers from China steal data on nearly 150 million Americans back in 2017, class actions and more laughable free credit monitoring services from the very same companies that created the problem aren't going to cut it. Now, what can you do? It's easy to adopt a defeatist attitude with the credit bureaus, who often foul things up royally, even for consumers who are quite diligent about watching their consumer credit files and disputing any inaccuracies. But there are some concrete steps that everyone can take which will dramatically lower the risk that identity thieves will ruin your financial future. And happily, most of these steps have side benefit of costing the credit bureaus money, or at least causing the data they collect about you to become less valuable over time by removing your inaccuracies and increasing your credit scores, which thereby means that they're not going to be paid more money for it, because the higher your score, the less they get paid for your information, right? Because that means that the less that these data furnishers can charge you in APRs. That is how this system works. They're in the data business. And then he goes on to say, first step is awareness. Look at your credit report, inaccuracies, blah, blah, blah. You might want to look into freezing, not locking your credit report. So if you want to read the rest of this, you can go again. I will put the link in the description when we're done. But sendme2.co/Experian-hack. Okay. So is there anything else on here I wanted to show you? Yeah, most of this is about your credit freeze, which alternately you can lock your credit, but he says don't lock your credit, okay? Credit lock is a service that the bureaus actually provide to you or for you, but when you freeze your credit, it means that someone who doesn't already have a financial relationship with you, like your bank or Capital One or whatever, all of your accounts, that an outsider cannot view your credit report, right? So that doesn't mean that your current creditors cannot see your information or that it makes it harder to verify it. And that has nothing to do with anything, okay? So just on a note about that, if you did freeze your credit, when you want to go fix your credit, you don't have to take the freeze off. When you freeze your credit and you want to go apply for new credit, yes, you do have to take that freeze off. And it's really not all that complicated. But anywho, I have other videos to create, I have other files I have to do, and I have a few phone calls I have to get to, and my night is not over yet. So I need to get going, but I wanted to share this with you again right now. I will post a link down in the description if you want to go check this out yourself and read the rest of it. But this was something that I absolutely knew that you needed to know about, and it just proves everything about everything that I've talked about here for the last 9 years. Okay. Now, if you want to get a credit sweep, maybe I can help you. If you don't want to do this yourself, head over to my740.com. I will see if I can help. Again, that is my740.com. But I will see you later. I'm going to have to figure out how to turn this off. I've never done a screen share live before, but anyways, smash that like, subscribe if you haven't done so, and I will see you later, tomorrow, next week, whatever. All right, bye.